planned long before COVID, obviously, to make this kind of a change. So we used to handle, and we have for 35 years, great jewelry. Had a small men's line for you guys on here. We're not leaving you guys out. Santiago and Robert, we had, and Tony, we had a small men's line, but we've had a lot of gifts and jewelry. So my quick tip of the day, especially for you ladies, is make sure on Zoom that you have your Zoom earrings. And don't really show.
Are you looking at me?
No, I am not, Jennifer. I'm just saying you might go a little bit bigger than you're comfortable with, all you ladies. That's my fashion tip for the day. And Jennifer, you are always authentic to us. And I know people asked me to talk about that today. So I think that's one of your most endearing traits, is that you are authentic.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And
show up in all my sweat and whatever, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. Actually, you are good. Go ahead. I'll let you talk. Yeah, if I'm too authentic, it might scare everybody away. So go ahead.
Well, we've seen you both ways. So, I know everybody on here is seeing you professional, but also authentic. And I think particularly now, I think the challenge really is almost, Jennifer, this is a great segue to present yourself authentically, but professionally right now. So everything has changed. Everybody has different stressors. So I was curious after you and I had emailed Nicole that authentic means coming from a real place. It's when our actions and our words are congruent with beliefs and values. So it's being ourselves, not an imitation of what we think we should be or that we're told we should be. There's no should. It's just presenting yourself authentically. And I've tried to present myself authentically for 18 years with my customers that I've served. And, like Nicole said, I've done a lot of different kind of jewelry events, but what I really love are the people. So I really love helping people, whether it's on our team or whether it's customers. But I think that means being authentic in relationships. And all of you guys, Robert, you probably have so many mortgages and are so busy right now. I know our mortgage girl is just slammed right now. There's a lot going on in the mortgage world. So, all those relationships that you've made in the past, and that can apply to every one of you on here. But it is important to just keep that relationship authentic. And if anybody has anything, feel free to just shout out, jump in. I don't want to necessarily just take over the whole thing. I'd love to hear your feedback. But being vulnerable and transparent, again, Jennifer, you're a perfect example of that this morning. It opens the door for communication, right? It does. It's something, So I think with your teams, I don't know how many of you have teams, but I also am authentic with my team. And I think that forges great communication. We work together, we play together. I really had a super stressful week earlier in the week. And so to my two leaders, I just said, you know what, this has been a really stressful week and here's why quickly, and here's how we're gonna come out of it. And they picked up some of the extra slack. So I think when you have a team and you can still present yourself, authentically, but that also forges that trust. And I think that when you're authentic, you attract more people to you and you get more customers. It's kind of the magic of authenticity.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah, we actually, I was just thinking a couple things that we talked about. We trust, empathy, what was the other one? Professional and competent, which I look at everybody in the majority of the members of our groups are all there. You can be authentic, but if you aren't professional and competent, guys, this is quite I should not be talking about being professional and looking halfway. You guys are all laughing at me, but I do think that that's it. And if you can trust people, if you know that somebody understands you, I think we were talking about that, Cheryl, that in some of the other groups, what do you first do when you meet with a client? Whether, you know that person or not, what do you typically do, Santiago? I'm just throwing it out there. Santiago, I'm sure you do what? You're muted, buddy. You're looking like you're really giving us a good answer, and I can't hear you.
I know.
We well, generally we ask them how they're doing and what's been going on in their lives.
So you listen. You let them talk, right? So that's, and then you figure out where's their pain, or what, that pain point thing we all hear all the time. But so you just listen, and then you hopefully, not sympathy, empathy. Somebody explained it that when you're sympathetic, it'd be like if you're in your boat and somebody's sinking in another boat and you're throwing a line from the other boat, but if you get in that boat and you're sinking with them, that's when you're sympathetic. If you're empathetic, you're throwing them but you're not getting in the boat with them and go, does that make sense? So, but listening, that's pretty much the, one of the big things. But trust, and I don't know, Cheryl, I'm sorry. When you said that, I was like, I know where I would, kind of the other question I would ask down the road, but keep talking, Cheryl, because one of the reasons we brought Cheryl, or we even thought of asking Cheryl, is that she recently got the 10th in the nation?
Yeah.
And maybe Nicole said that, but I don't know if you guys realize.
I didn't say that. I'm sorry.
I might not have had that in my bio. That's like a late addition. Jennifer, thank you for remembering.
But that we are now, well, no, and it's not that we don't think Premier and Devoted is awesome, but the fact that we have people in our membership that you guys all have unbelievable qualifications and credentials. And we're trying to now pull out and do some member of the week. And I think Cheryl was our first one. She kind of got us thinking about it because we saw her on or was it with the networking group or whatever you had and I was like, what does that say? And then it says 10th in the nation. How many reps are there with the company? I mean, how many?
20,000.
How many?
About 20,000.
20,000. So we have the 10th in the nation right here in our group. Well, right in our, and it's not that we don't think Premier is, she's got to be authentic. She's got to be real. She has not done this for 18 years, or you have not done what you're doing for as much as you've done. I know most of us are fairly seasoned in the industry, even if you've changed companies.
Right.
There's probably, Santiago, how long have you been there?
I'm going to my 8th year.
8th year.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, you've been in the industry mortgage for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, 27 years.
Yeah. And Gina, I know I met you years ago and you were in the, what were you doing? But you've always been in that industry, right?
Yeah, about 20 years.
Oh my gosh. I know Tony is a little bit younger, but Tony, how long have you, I'm sorry, Cheryl, I've taken over. Tony, how long have you been there?
Hey, Connor?
Well, in insurance world.
Oh, about 6 years.
See, and Lisa, I know, how long have you been there? You've been in a couple different real estate companies.
Yeah, I've been a realtor for 4 years, but before this, my husband and we owned a foreclosure business for 3 years. So
sorry,
I've been in the business.
That's kind of one of those, that's always one of those things we foreclosed on people, but she saw it from both sides of it. I think would be but I think that's what, when Nicole said that Cheryl was coming to speak today, I was like, Cheryl can obviously speak on, and maybe she doesn't even realize just being who she is and us understanding that she's the 10th in the nation, 20,000 reps. We can all learn from each other, and definitely when we have people, we definitely have, we have some, she's not beyond us reaching out to her, and she's here to share whatever she can this morning with us. The other part, I saw her, you did the WIN luncheon when you were talking about you and a couple other, and it was network marketing, wasn't it? As well as being a woman in a business. And so take off from there. I just wanted everybody to know who we have here today. That is, I've never thought of her as being like Cheryl. So like, oh, but when I saw that 10th in the nation, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exciting. So what, if you have questions, how does she do something like that? I mean, take it away, Cheryl. You tell us more about you. I'm sorry, I've kind of.
Oh, I love listening, Jennifer. Really, I think probably some of the keys, which this applies to everybody in every industry, and I'm sure you all do this, but we all have easy days and we have hard days. And I think sometimes people perceive, the top 10 in the nation, or, Santiago, if you won an award from Edward Jones, or, everyone on here, like, oh, he must have easy leads, or, a ton of people must be in his book of business. No, he probably gets up every single day, has people, reject appointments, has people accept appointments. It's just putting one foot after the other. And I think that's the biggest thing after 18 years is just keep going. And to know that, I'm an eternally positive person. I think part of it comes from my faith, part of it's just who I am, part of it's my, upbringing, but just knowing that, we're all going to have a few rough days, but there's good days around the corner. You just have to keep going. And, we're all going to have things that don't go exactly the way we want, but we just have to keep going. And that John Maxwell book, I don't have the title with me, but I can. It's one of his latest ones, but I'm doing a book club with my leaders. And it is it's such a good book, but really when she asked me to speak on authenticity, it was funny because I just had my book club yesterday on FaceTime with these girls because they're in different parts of the nation. And one of the biggest qualities that John talks about is listening. Your team, your customers, everybody, if we can just listen, that's kind of the magic, because people will tell us, and a lot of times it comes from a good place in our heart that we want to tell them and help them and teach them and train them and talk at them. Or, I'm sure I find that with my team, because I want them to succeed so much. But I can talk at them all I want, or even customers if I think I know what they want. But if I don't really listen to what their needs are, I can't serve them. And so I saw the little light bulbs going up in my leaders' heads, and I was just so excited yesterday. I'll be sure and get the title of that book. It obviously applies to every industry, every one of us, everything we're doing.
And that, can I ask, I'll be the interviewer for a second.
I'd love for you to be the interviewer. Ask me.
Okay, well, yes, and it's going to be everybody, but when we've been talking about this, and Nicole knows probably where I'm going with this, but well, maybe she doesn't. We've been talking about being authentic, and anybody familiar with Simon Sinek? Santiago, do you know who Simon is? Or Cheryl, tell us who Simon Sinek is. What would be your explanation of him? And then I'll
listen to a bunch of his TED Talks. So
his book is called Start With Why. So
right.
He's got a bunch of books. Santiago, do you have that? He's grabbing it off his shelf. Do you have it? You're muted. You're muted. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's in this office somewhere. Yes.
So what is the, he's got this whole thing with golden circles and everything, but he says most companies start with what they do and then how they do it. But the leading companies are the ones that start with why. So he talks about Apple, and Apple is a good example. You have to listen to his TED Talks, but some of the best, but start with why. So when it comes down to it, the people that are different, and I think it applies to everybody in our network. I mean, I don't know that I always think when something new comes into my world, I'm like, okay, do we have good people? We have great people, but I don't know if you even have thought about it, but there's a reason, Gina, why you're doing the work you're doing. We're all trying to get paid. And I've been kind of saying it's okay to say getting paid, but that's a product of what you're doing. That's the out, you get paid because you do something. We could do something else and get paid, maybe not as well, or maybe differently, or maybe more. I mean, I don't know. But I guess I would just throw it out. We'll start with Cheryl. Cheryl, you've been with a company for 18 years. you're very much in alignment with your company because you walk, talk, and wear the jewelry, and now you've turned into Devoted, and I'm sure you can tell us, there's now, what else? Oh, well, okay, let's start with the first question. Why do you do what you do? I don't mean to throw you off.
I love people, and I have grown to really love the flexibility. This has been, people with Premier, now Devoted, could choose to do this part-time, full-time. I never dreamed this would be my full-time job. I just found it quickly because we had a desire to send our kids to faith-based school. Wasn't going to happen on my husband's salary only. He's in insurance, and we were just looking at options 18 years ago. And so I thought, well, I'll give this a shot, see how it goes. If not, I'll go back into my field, which is public relations. And I had been a work-at-home mom while they were little and just wanted to continue that. So didn't really realize that there were businesses like this that could support, and create a full-time position.
But you like to see women. I mean, it's more than just you like people. I mean, I think you really enjoy women seeing what they can look, because you've sold me some stuff, and I know it was like, she knows tells me the right words. I mean, this has been years. I've known Cheryl, and I bought many earrings from her and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, I love giving women a more confident look. We have expanded now. I still love giving women confidence through having a pulled together look. I do personal style consultations on Zoom, in person. I'm doing a lot of outside meetings right now while the weather's great.
mm-hmm.
I feel like we can responsibly meet for coffee outside. I'm doing some front yard fashions and some patio pool parties with
Cool.
and some fun things. But we've also expanded now. Premier, about 3 weeks ago, when they became Devoted, they've partnered with about 15 different companies now. Each company has their own give back. So, for example, we have Soapbox, which is a company that offers great soap products, hand sanitizer, soap scrubs. They have their own give back. And I am still learning all of them. For every product purchase, a bar of soaps donated to someone in need, either here in the US or abroad. So each company, no matter what it is, has its own give back. We have a partnership with Callion Candles. We have a partnership with Cause Drinkware. We also have, these are for guys or girls. We have Hippie Feet. It's a really cool company. I'm finding that people love our products as much as the give back, or sometimes it's vice versa. This actually helps homeless teens, and on the back of every pair, there's a little initial, and that is the homeless teen that packed those. So they're helping teens avoid homelessness. We have a journal company. We have a baby company, Bless This Nest, that has little
Oh, cute.
I know. And then one of my favorites I save for last because I am a coffee girl. This morning it's iced coffee, but Gobana coffee. So each one of these partnerships in the marketplace now has their own give back, and there's a few more. I won't go through them all, but it's exciting.
So they give back to a nonprofit. So that's a really big, or it's connected to a nonprofit in some way.
Nonprofit or a cause, and exactly let's see, this Cause Drinkware, 25% is donated to crisis and disaster relief. So you know exactly where your donation is going from each partner in our marketplace.
So I would definitely encourage everybody to reach out to Cheryl because Cheryl's our only Premier lady, and now we're not going to call it Premier anymore. Obviously, she's Devoted. We heard, and we know now better. Santiago, what's your why? Why do you do what you do?
So I do what I do because my family kind of grew up, my grandparents were migrant workers. I mean, my dad was born in a bean field. So I've watched them work very hard and set goals and bring themselves out of poverty and allow for me and my siblings to have a different life. And they did that through planning and goal setting. And so I tried to do that as I was growing up and becoming, started working, and I started a couple other businesses that I used to have.
Yeah.
But I started it with Edward Jones as a client right when I started working and started saving money. And they helped me put my daughter through college and start saving for my retirement. And then, then at a certain point, I decided that after talking to my advisor that, it was Kelly Hyman down on Main Street, who's now retired, but that, I could do this for other people too. And that it really fit in with what I wanted to do and bringing people up and trying to show them, because you think, okay, we're in Carmel, Hamilton County, but there's still a lot of people that haven't done any planning.
Right.
And what happens to not just them, but those generations that come behind them.
Right.
And so bringing people up and showing that, it's not just about, and you'd said it, Cheryl, it's not just about easy leads or something like that. It's about having a strategy, having a plan, and then executing it. And if you do that, that you will, I can't remember where the quote is, but it's something along the lines of a poor plan executed well is
Better than no plan.
yeah. So that's kind of where I'm from. I've seen it. And a lot of my family is still very poor, and I wish that I could, help everybody, but you could, you do what you can.
There seems to be a movie or a book in that story, Santiago. I think you need to put that into a book. Well, I just would ask, I mean, Gina, you have a reason you do what you do, which I think we all have we feel like we're fulfilling our purpose. If you're aligned with your why, Gina, I've known you a few years, so.
I have a passion for educating people. It seems like in my field, people don't know about us until there's a crisis. And I'm trying to educate them on how to plan, kind of like Santiago, to know, and they know what their options are before the crisis. They take somebody to the emergency room and the hospital says, well, you need to find a place for your loved one. And then well, what do I do? So I want to be that person that they can come to for, a resource before there is a crisis. And that would help them even stay out of these emergency situations. Good. And I have a passion for seniors. I think that they're an overlooked group of people, and sometimes we become their family, we become their protectors, and that's my why.
And I've seen you working. You do that, definitely. You know what, Nicole, I didn't mean to jump all over this, but Tony and Lisa, you guys, and then Nicole, definitely we need to know your why too, but Cheryl, you probably have more to say too. Lisa, do you want to tell us what your why is? Are you there? Did she disappear on us?
Nope. I'm on my phone, just trying to figure out how to unmute myself quickly. So, before I became a realtor and I was looking for a house, the agent I was working with was like, we would go to houses that were just crap. And she's like, oh, this is great. And it really bothered me. Like, there's just so many people out there that don't really care about other people, in my opinion. And so I just want to be someone who is always honest and upfront. And I want the best for people and helping them make the biggest decision of their life, buying a home. I want them to know that I truly have their back, and it's not just about, me. So that is a huge why for me. Another one is also I love helping other people and giving my time to organizations that help, especially, as most of you know, my involvement with the women's prison. And in this business, I felt like, I could have that time to be able to volunteer more of myself to different organizations. So, but that was incorrect in my opinion when I started this, because once you become a realtor, you really lose time. You don't gain any. So, but it all works out. But my biggest why is just helping other people.
Well, and that's, I think help and serving is kind of right up there in the top of all of, we just have different areas we like to. Tony, why would, I'm going to be really weird here, but why would somebody go into insurance? I'm just being honest with you. I did it. I'm not sure why I did it, but I think you're good at it and you deliver it well. Why did you do it? He's laughing.
You always got to give me crap about this. And
No,
we did
I'm
completely
not-
different insurance, by the way.
It's what? What?
We did nothing. No, it's just that we did different insurance.
Well, no, I did do property and casualty for AAA for 6-7 years. So I admire, I respect the insurance people. I probably say it sounding like I'm being rude, but you have to have special talents to do that and to stick with it every day. We all do. I mean, but Tony, why do you do it?
Oh, well, I like making relationships with my clients and referral partners and whatnot, but mainly just making sure people are taken care of and their, biggest assets in their life are protected. Santiago helps them acquire some of those assets, and then I help to try to protect it, so
Yeah, I like
with a decent price. So, I just don't like seeing people get screwed, for something that's they think's covered for and it's not, and that sort of stuff. So kind of like protecting and people and their stuff.
And if you didn't say that, I'd be really shocked, Tony. I'd be really shocked.
Okay.
Thank you. No, I don't
You're
mean
welcome.
if I just any
I
insurance
know.
people, I just tell you, I say it all the time. I respect you so much. But you know what, Jennifer Johnson up in the left corner there,
Oh.
Nicole, what do you do it
I
for?
was like, well, me, the big thing, the common thing that we all have is helping people. In my different jobs, I've taught preschool for 7 years, love the kids. My specialty was 1.5 to 3 years. Just love them. And you take that passion, and I get to, in writing, it's always been a passion, and it's just neat to get to do the blogging for Indie Bride to Be, just helping brides with their dream wedding come true, and connecting them with vendors. And we're hoping we're gonna be doing an event in September. So I get to at the Bitwell Center. I don't know if you've heard anything about that yet, but yeah, so we're kind of looking into that. And it just, the faux wedding that I went to in January, I mean, who knew? But it's just so exciting to be there, and to experience it. And, now I'm going to be on the other side, and I'm going to get to share with everybody. So kind of really, and then TTR, get to meet with y'all every week and how we can help each other, and wonderful guests like Cheryl, and just so much to learn. I love it. I'm like a sponge, and then I learn it, and then I want to share it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And we appreciate you leading this group. And Cheryl, I didn't mean to, but I think that's come up, and now it's the end of August and we're almost into September. And you're a great one to bring in did you have, pick it up where you left off. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, because I think you are so genuine and authentic. And I don't think I've ever seen you when you aren't who you are. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I think and people will buy from you if they believe they're not being sold to, they believe in you. I don't know, I'm not saying it like but we know, I mean, 18 years with the same company, and they've probably gone through a lot of changes. We've all gone through changes, and we're still, tell us, pick up where you left off. I know we only have so many minutes, but go ahead.
Oh, well, Jennifer, it's really great segue. Really, in the end, and I can tell all of you probably do this with your businesses, but I really love this quote too. Authenticity is not just about being sincere, real, and honest. It's about being reliable, dependable, being true to what you'll say you'll do, and acting the way you say you will. And our company has always encouraged us to underpromise and overdeliver. I had not heard that concept before I started with Premier, and I love some of the things that Premier has inspired us has just been like good life advice, not only for a successful business, but I've been thankful for that as well, that I feel like I've learned through them. I can finish up with a Lou Holtz quote, then if we have any questions or anything, but I love this too. He said, the answer to these questions will determine your success or failure. 1, can people trust me to do what's right? 2, am I committed to doing my best? 3, do I care about other people and show it? If the answers to these questions are yes, then there's really no way you can fail. And I'm sure that you
My
guys,
thing cut out. my thing froze. What was the first question? I'm sorry.
oh yeah, the first question was, can people trust me to do what's right? So,
And then the second one, thank you.
oh yeah, sure. The second one, am I committed to doing my best?
Okay.
And then the third one is, do I care about other people and show it?
Thank you. Those are awesome. Wow.
Well, I think those are all, apply to all of our industries. They're just great life advice, and Lou Holtz says it best. But I can tell you guys are all very authentic and love what you do. And I just appreciate the opportunity to pop on and share with you guys today. I'm glad to answer any questions. I know it's probably time to wrap up, but I just thank you, Jennifer and Nicole, for the opportunity.
Thank you.
One thing that I would just encourage here, and Cheryl is obviously, she's got all kinds of products that she's now able to sell. And I was thinking, and Cheryl probably, as well as all of us, probably have been, you guys probably all have your own industry, guidelines and stuff. But in this time of COVID, we're probably, some of us are kind of like, oh, people don't have any money to do that. People don't have any, but if you have a service or a product or a whatever, you can offer them protection of their asset. I'm sure I don't have to tell Santiago and Tony and Lisa, you guys, and Gina, but if you have something that you have not shared with the members of your group, that's where we start. You come every week to share or to educate. If you have not had a one-to-one with each other, I would say that should be number one on your list. Because, I've been listening to some podcasts the last couple of days. They say it more than once. You're doing the world a disservice by not sharing what you do. If you believe in what you are doing, which I think you all do, because listen to your why, you already said why you do it. You could have said money. I kind of told you not to say money at the beginning, but the money is always good. But there's a reason you do what you do. And if you have not shared that with everybody in this group, either through your own presentation to the group like Cheryl just did, or if you have not sat down with a one-to-one, and I realize, you only have so many hours in the week, but Zoom, the virtual world, now makes it pretty dang easy to reach out. So if it's not about you can sell to each other, obviously that'll happen, but educating. You all said that you like to help people understand better. And I think, Nicole, you're not miss it, but Thankful Single Mama.
Oh,
you've had years of what didn't, you were married and, you've got things you want to share with other people. Don't make the mistakes, or if you do make these mistakes, I lived through that. I can help you through that.
Yeah.
I think that's what we all owe it to each other, to make sure your group mates know what you do, why you do it.
Yes.
And then they can be a really good resource, or a referral source out there talking about you. I just was sitting here thinking, I know that Cheryl has so many things she could tell us about Devoted now. If you don't make an appointment to do a phone, and I would like to, Cheryl, soon. So
I would love that, Jennifer, and any of you that want to, I would love that. I think I can help a lot of you. I think we're in a weird time warp this year, just with what's going on, and Christmas is in 120 days, not trying to rush it, but it's like such a weird year.
Yeah, so, don't think that people don't want to know that I heard that and it sounds so funny, but you are being very selfish if you're not sharing what you do. And I know you are all good at what you do. So get out there and tell people, make connections with Cheryl, with Cheryl's new, the stuff that nobody I don't think, we don't have anybody who does Devoted at all, but you really don't have any overlaps either in some of the other, it's kind of an interesting combination of products now.
It really is. And I love, as people get to know it, it's really the give back, because I thought, oh, these socks are cute, but probably people won't be interested. These have actually been some of the most things that people are interested in, but I think it's because of the cause. So some people are product specific, some people are cause specific. So I
Right.
think it just offers some great opportunities.
Well, I will reach out to you so we can get one. But you guys, I mean, we all have opportunities to introduce each other to other people. So don't be afraid to do that. I know you're all shaking your head and you know what I'm talking about. So Nicole, Cheryl, thank you very much. I'm so glad. I was looking pretty rough, but you know that's me. So
That's authentic. You were a perfect segue. It's like we planned it or something.
well, I'm sorry I kind of hogged your time, but I had not asked this group what their whys were. And I was like, you know what? I think that's so important. We're going to be done with authenticity technically on the calendar, but that's where our goals are for the rest of the existence of To the Rescue Networking, is being authentic. And the big thing is giving back too. You know, I know this group did a soup kitchen or something at some point or something, but maybe we can try to figure out what, you know, maybe you guys all have something that you'd like to. I don't know if this group has really talked about that, because
A little bit. I know Dawn is working on, I mean, she's a leader of another group. Dawn Evans Casey is working on a list, but I was hoping we can go round maybe next week and talk about what's close to our hearts. I know, you know, Robert mentioned his cause that he volunteers for, you know, so, you know, anything. I mean, and it could be, what is it? Dawn calls it time, talent, or treasure. I love that, you know, so many ways we can go with that. So, yeah.
Well,
I do fundraisers as well. So, you know, if you do have a cause near dear to your heart, I'd be glad to help with that as well.
see, that would be actually, I think
you.
those are the kind of things we have. The people, almost everybody that has a product in our network has offered to do some kind of fundraising. And now, Cheryl, that I understand better what Devoted is now, I really do want to talk to you about what we could do and getting it out to the whole network. But you guys all have, you know, have other things you can talk to her about, so I won't get in the way of that. Nicole, did you want to close your meeting? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to thank everybody. It's okay. Did anybody have anything they need to say, or any specific need that we didn't cover? We're looking out for referrals. Something I thought of, and I can't, and I might have mentioned it before, but I can't take total credit for me. My 16-year-old was asking me to look at some Riverdale stuff on Amazon. I don't know if any Riverdale fans, but anyway, they have this whole fanware. And I don't know, we were just talking about stars and everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's another way we can help each other. It's huge. I found my current doctor primary based on her stars, you know, so anybody, you know, go out to Santiago, you know, and give them some stars.
Yeah.
Share the stars.
So you're talking about reviews and stuff like that, right?
Yes,
well,
thank you.
One thing we would really like to do is let everybody know, and that's everybody, if you've got a good review of one of your members on testimonial.
Yes.
I mean, we're not going to put negative testimonials on our website, but we did have a whole conversation about negative, and, you know, if you don't have something good to say,
don't say it.
Don't say it, or take it to your referral partner and say, you know, but anyway, we would like to get testimonials on the website. So
Awesome.
If you have something, and, you know, maybe you know that Gina helped your brother or cousin or whatever, and you want to just, you know, we've got that space on the website to put those on the pages with the groups. So I would encourage you to go out, make sure your profile's complete for one thing, but then also if you've got something, I know Nicole's got one or two out there right now, and we really just want our members to know that that's an an outlet for them. Cheryl, we would like to get you on our show too. So we'll get that scheduled. That might be a couple weeks out because we've got a lot of bookings for that. It's getting better. So anyway, I'm just glad I could be here no matter how I look.
Thank you.
You guys are great. Thank you. Anybody else got anything that you want to, anybody? Keep inviting people.
Well, thank you all so much. Thank you again, Cheryl. Thank you. So great to see everybody. Have a wonderful week, and I'll be sending a follow-up hopefully today, if not today, tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Nicole, can you stay on just for a second?
Sure.
Just for a
Yeah,
second.
sure.
Just for a second.
Okay.
Good to see you, Gina. Bye, Lisa. She driving?
I don't know.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye, Lisa.
See ya.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think-
so glad you were on the call.
I'm
Yay.
sorry.
And you're
Well, I
still
kinda-
recording. Did you want to stop
Oh.
recording or did you? So,
No, I
yay.